rolling, probably catch up to me one day. But for now, you can see me headed down that runway, run.
What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Hard Body Ty, and for today's video, I wanted to actually give a fight breakdown for this weekend's upcoming fight for Mayweather McGregor. I've been getting a lot of questions about it. I've been talking to my friends about it, talking to family about it, talking to clients about it, and I want to do a fight breakdown. I haven't done one of these on YouTube yet, and so I'm going to start doing these. Anytime a big fight comes around, we're going to start doing fight breakdowns. I'm going to name attributes of what I like of both fighters, give an analysis for what I think will happen, and hopefully I'm right, because I'm pretty right outside of YouTube. So hopefully we don't jinx ourselves with this video. But aside from that, I'm actually give who I think will win and why I think will win. So not just spewing facts, not just being some kind of fanboy who just, oh, this is why I picked this guy because of this, this, and this. No, I'll give you legit reasons for why I feel a fighter will win. Detailed reasons, not just because of X, Y, and Z about character flaws or what I like. Okay, it's not about this. None of these breakdowns will ever be personal. We're just going off skills and attributes and why I think they will win. And if this goes over well and I get good feedback, not just on YouTube but on social media from this, we'll do this, like I said, with future fights, MMA fights, and boxing matches. So I will cover both. I like both. I am a fitness guy, but I have a big love for combat sports. Huge love for combat sports. Now, the fight is tomorrow. The weigh-in is tonight, I believe. Yep, the weigh-in's tonight. They're weighing in Vegas. For those who don't know, when I started this channel, I was living out in Las Vegas. Great place to live. I love the city of Las Vegas. But that's beside the point. We want to get this breakdown. I'm missing Vegas as I'm thinking about it. Just to be in town at this point has got to be crazy. It's got to be insane. But getting into the breakdown, I want to start with Conor McGregor. And I'm going to get into what he does well and things I don't think he does well, or how it may not help him in this fight. And then I'll get into Floyd Mayweather, what he does well, and what may or may not help him in this fight, what may work as a disadvantage. And again, if you're a fanboy, if you're somebody who just loves the guy, that's fine. You can have your opinions, but I'm going to be as objective as I can. As objective as I can be. Because I like both guys. Starting off with Conor McGregor, what he does right. Now, we've never seen him in a boxing ring, so I can't judge his boxing. So I'm going to go off what I've seen from him in the MMA octagon. I've watched a lot of his fights. I ordered his last fight. No, I take that back. I didn't order. I saw his last fight in a Buffalo Wild Wings with a bunch of drunk idiots. And I knew after that, I did not want to watch any more fights in bars. But with that being said, he put on a great show against Alvarez. And one thing Conor McGregor does really well is he is a very good counter puncher, especially with his left hand. He has power on both hands. That is evident. He can hit you and hurt you with both hands. But he has very good power in his left hand. It's a very good counter punch for him. And a lot of times he likes to step back, let guys come in, and as they miss, he makes them pay with the left hand. And typically guys go down when they feel his left hand. Obviously, Diaz was a little bit different, but Diaz ate a lot of Conor's left hands. Diaz is just a sucker for punishment, but he's a good fighter. But one thing Conor does well is he really centers, and he throws that left hand down the pipe, or he throws it overhand. For those who don't know what an overhand punch is, it's not coming straight, but rather over the top, and it sometimes can clip. Let me see if I can do it right here. Clip the top of that opponent's head. The reason I know this is because I'm a southpaw myself, and the overhand left is a punch I've been working on in my own sparring session. See, I'm not just some casual. I actually get in there and throw a few things myself. Now, with that being said, one thing I do notice about Conor that I don't like when it comes to him going into boxing, I just told you what he did well. What I don't like is he does not jab. And some people may think, oh, that's not a big deal if you got power, and a lot of guys. The jab is the most fundamental punch in boxing for a reason. It sets everything up. Your best punch looks even better and has a better chance of landing if you set it up with a jab. That means if you throw an overhand left and you start a fight throwing an overhand left, your chances of landing it aren't as good than rather if you set it up with a jab, whether it's to the body or to the head, or even if it's a blinding jab just to throw your opponent's focus off. The reason why that is because the jab is the setup punch that makes every combination go a little bit smoother. It sometimes dazes the opponent. It assesses range. It has so many good uses. So Conor does not throw enough jabs. I've never seen Conor throw a jab in many fights. I've seen him throw a few, but it's not a habit of his. And I hope that's something he's been working on in camp. While he's been preparing in camp, sparring with Paulie and Artem and all these other fighters, I hope he's been developing some kind of jab. You have to, especially as a southpaw. You talk about Mayweather has a disadvantage with southpaws, but It's all about foot positioning. That is the southpaw advantage. For those who don't know what the southpaw advantage is, because some people just say it, oh, he's a southpaw, he's an advantage. It's all about foot positioning. So basically the way it works is you always want to be outside the lead foot of the orthodox fighter so that your left hand is always in position to strike. With that being said, if you don't have a jab to set it up, it doesn't matter because the guy can just always move out of the way, slip. And somebody who's already very, very defensively sound, it's going to be even harder to land. That's why a lot of these experts don't believe Conor's going to land anything significant, because it's hard to land anything significant against somebody who's already very defensively sound and you do not have the foot movement to get in position to hit them. You have to get in position. A lot of MMA fighters, especially like Conor, is very, very good at countering guys who are coming in foolishly. Floyd does not do that. And if you know anything about Mayweather, if you've even watched his fights, whether you think he's born or not, I don't think anybody will say he's a dumb fighter. Just be realistic. He's not a dumb fighter. Now, we're going to talk about Floyd. What Floyd does well. Floyd has 3 punches in particular that I very, very much love that are part of his arsenal. For all the talk of his defense, he has 3 very, very good offensive maneuvers. That is his straight right hand. That is his check hook. And that is his pull counter or his jab to the body, whichever one you could put in that 3 spot. I actually think his jab to the body may actually be better than the pull counter because it's still a right hand. For those who don't know boxing lingo, pull counter, he simply pulls his head and he counters over with the right hand, or his jab to the body where the left hand just comes straight into the solar plexus, right here at the upper part of your abs, and he takes a little bit of air out of you. And what it does is, it may not hurt, because a lot of people don't think he can punch. It may not hurt right away. But after a few rounds of getting that same punch over and over, you're going to find it very, very hard to continue because the air is slowly getting taken out of the tires, if you know what I mean. You're going to get winded because you get that same shot in the body over and over. So those are 3 things he does really, really well. Now, what does Mayweather not do well? It's funny because he does almost everything good from a boxing perspective, but in relation to Conor, one thing Floyd can be set up with, and even though people don't want to admit it, Floyd can be hit with the left hand. He's been hit with the left hand. Manny Pacquiao hit him with the left hand. So you can land on Mayweather. It's just very, very hard to do so. One thing Pacquiao did really well was use angles. And this is where I get into breakdowns with Conor, not necessarily knowing how to do that, or at least not showing that he's been able to do that. And if you can't use angles on a guy like Mayweather and move your feet a certain way to get that left hand in that guard, it's very, very tough to hit him flush. I'm not saying it's impossible. We have yet to see it. The guy is 40. We don't know. But it's very, very hard to land flush. And the way they throw their punches, even if Conor could get there, I don't know if it's going to have the zip or the speed on it the way it should to actually land something significant. Because contrary to what people think, while Conor does hit hard, boxing is a different type of power. These guys are used to taking punches. Now, as far as my prediction, I don't know if I've already kind of laid it out just by the things I've given. Strengths and weaknesses, what they do good and what they don't do good. I am going to pick Floyd Mayweather to win this fight. It has nothing to do with him being black. It has nothing to do with him, X, Y, and Z, whatever people want to make it as. The simple fact is this. He is a boxer who has boxed for years. You are bringing in somebody who, while they may be a good fighter in their field, you're bringing him into a different lane. I don't want to hear, if Floyd was in the octagon. I don't want to hear that. That's not what this is about. And yes, if Floyd was in the octagon, he would lose. I agree. But that's not what this is about. We're talking about Saturday. Saturday will be in a ring. Whether you like the rules of boxing, whether you think boxing is for weak wimps or whatever. First of all, anybody that thinks that, I dare you to get in the ring yourself. But anybody that thinks that, you're going to find out firsthand why boxing should definitely get a lot more respect. It's way more difficult, in my opinion, to collapse your entire offense around these 2 weapons. Because that's all you have. There is no kicking. There will be no grappling other than clinching. There is no knees, no elbows, no takedowns, none of that. Conor has to beat the best boxer alive with his 2 hands. I do not think he will be able to do that. Can it be interesting? Yes, I do. And in fact, that's part of my breakdown. I do believe the first 2 to 3 rounds will be intriguing. I believe it'll be a different look, a different style. Punches may be coming from certain places Mayweather's not used to seeing them. Keep in mind, Floyd has not fought in 2 years. So it will take a couple rounds to get acclimated to actual fighting. Sparring and fighting are different things. I spar on a weekly basis. It's not the same thing as fighting. It's not. It's close. It's a simulation. You do get hit and you can get knocked out in sparring. Yes, you can. I've been hurt in sparring. And you can hurt people in sparring. I've done that too. But it's not the same thing. Sparring gets you ready for a fight, but when you're in there for the fight, it's everything goes. Okay, it's a lot less respectful. You're trying to win. So with that being said, I don't think Conor's gonna have much success doing certain things. You can study tape on Mayweather. You can know the three. I just named 3 of his best moves, and you're still not gonna be able to stop them if you are not conditioned to do things a certain way. Manny Pacquiao's been begging for that fight for years. Got in there with him and looked dumbfounded. He said, "I would have won if he didn't move so much." You know he moves. You know he's got fast feet. He has fast hands. His hands are still faster than McGregor's, even at 40 years old. So you're going to have to think of something outside the box. Not to say Conor can't make it interesting, but I think after the first couple of rounds, you're going to see Mayweather realize the style, pick up on things. The switching of stances is not going to do much for Conor. I'm sorry to tell you. I don't think that's going to work. But I do believe it will be interesting until Floyd figures him out. And then from there, it's just a matter of pot-shotting him and picking his spots and hitting this guy at will. I think you're going to see the right hand become a big factor in the fight. I think the jab is going to become a big factor in the fight. I don't see Floyd doing dramatic offensive displays as far as landing a bunch of combinations and lighting Conor up. I could be wrong. I don't see that. I see a lot of pot shotting. I see a lot of left hands. I mean, not left hands. Straight right hands. I'm thinking about softballs. Straight right hands and a lot of lead jabs and maybe a check hook or two if Conor gets a little aggressive. He may counter him. Other than that, if the accumulation builds up, this fight could be stopped. I actually pick a 9th round stoppage. So I'm giving Conor enough respect to last 9 rounds with Floyd. Some people say it's less than that. Some people think it's the reverse and that Conor will knock Floyd out within 2 or 3 rounds. I think anyone that thinks that is a little bit delusional or has never fought before or never been hit in the face. But to each their own. No disrespectful opinions here. Anyway, that is my fight breakdown. That is exactly how I feel this fight's going to go. So we're going to reference this video. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. Anyway, guys, like I always tell you guys, the advice is free. Hustle so separately. Holla at your boy. Check out the fight.